To use the formula N equals N over M, we have to actually understand what each of these bits mean. The N here is the number of moles. The number of moles is the number of individual atoms. However, because the atoms are so small, we've taken a big number and we've said we'll make that 1. So the number of moles is that. This is the mass that we are given in grams, and this is the molar mass in grams per mole. And we calculate the molar mass by adding the sum of the atomic masses of all the components. For example, if we wanted to calculate the molar mass of sodium hydroxide, we would look at the periodic table. We would find that sodium has a molar mass of 23, oxygen is 16, and hydrogen is 1. So overall that is 40 grams per mole. If we're given a mass of sodium hydroxide, let's assume the mass of sodium hydroxide that we are given is 15 grams. We can then calculate the number of moles of sodium hydroxide using our formula up above. That is the mass divided by the molar mass, which equals, well, you can do that on your calculator, and you would get the answer 0.375 moles. This means we have 0.375 times 6 by 10 to the 23 particles of molecules of sodium hydroxide in there, which is about 2.25 by 10 to the 23 particles. Way too big a number to work with. This number is much easier to work with, so that is why we use this number here and we calculate the number of moles. Right, where do we use this? If we've got a reaction like this, where sulfuric acid reacts with sodium hydroxide to form sodium sulfate and water, we can actually see the mole ratios here. 1 mole of this is going to react with 2 moles of this to form 1 mole of that and 2 moles of this. So we just put those numbers in. That's 1 mole, that's 2 moles, that's 1 mole, and that's 2 moles. The numbers in front of the figures actually, in front of the equations actually tell us what we've got. So if we now know, if we've got 15 grams of sodium hydroxide and we're reacting that with sulfuric acid, how much sulfuric acid would we need? We can calculate that. If we go back to our earlier example, we calculated that 15 grams of sodium hydroxide gave us 0.375 grams, 375 moles, sorry, of sodium hydroxide. 1 mole of sulfuric acid reacts with 2 moles of sodium hydroxide. So we can then state that the number of moles of sulfuric acid equals 1/2 times the number of moles of sodium hydroxide, which means that that will equal 0.1875, and we can plug that into our formula by rearranging number of moles equals mass over molar mass. Mass equals the number of moles times the molar mass, which equals 0.1875 times the molar mass of sulfuric acid, which is 98, and that will give us our answer of 18.4 grams. So to neutralise 15 grams of sodium hydroxide here, to neutralise that 15 grams of sodium hydroxide here, we need 18.4 grams of sulfuric acid.